Hi again, sorry about that. There was just a little bit of a technical hitch. I think hopefully it's got it sorted out. So again, good evening, and let's talk about transfer business, what's been going on so far. So recently we saw again Arsenal came in with a second bid for Declan Rice, this time offering 90 million, which apparently was a club record bid for Arsenal. With this, it was again 75 million plus 15 million pounds add-ons. The same restrictions as the last one. So I don't know what Arsenal was playing at. I mean, this is the reason why you look at what I put on the fund now earlier on, the Klarna. It seems that a lot of clubs these days are going with this part payment business. You know, Arsenal particularly do it well. They did it with Pepe with 3 instalments. I don't know why they think that going in cheap with West Ham with first 80 million and then going on with 90 million that we're going to turn and say, yeah, no problems at all. It's quite clear what we wanted is 100 million pounds plus a player, or if not that, we're then looking at 120 million if you're going to play for the player outright. So yeah, I mean, it's early, you know, it'd be interesting to see what goes on from that point there. It'd be interesting to see because obviously we know Arteta wants to kind of build on what he's actually doing. And with the fact that he's going for Kai Havertz, that's still in the pipeline. And then there's also the same player recently saying that he wants to move, but Arsenal willing to pay the 65 million pound that, you know, apparently Chelsea are looking for. So let's have a look at what else we've got going on in the market itself. So you're also looking to go, Arsenal's looking to go for Ajax defender Jurriën Timber because he wants to back Mikel Arteta. It seems that basically you went for this player before. It was recently, you put a bid in for them, but again was flatly rejected. But talks apparently are very positive this time, and there seems to be a willingness from both parties that the player wants to come. So it seems like this is going to get through quite easily. He's got 2 years left in his contract, and he's rated around about 47 million pounds or 50 million euros. One bid was already rejected, as I mentioned, but working internally on evaluation and payment structure, Arsenal are hoping to push this one through. It was a player that, you know, Arsenal have looked at in January and have been monitoring his progress ever since as he looked to increase competition in defensive positions. But obviously, with Declan Rice and Kai Havertz also being involved, it's still, again, the valuation, the payment structure, there seems to be a stumbling block. So apparently, Arsenal is going to make a fresh verbal offer for Chelsea. But it's willing. Again, it seems like you're going to pay up front with another add-on for that as well. 55 million plus 5 million pounds add-ons. So we'll see what goes on with that one. But obviously, when you look at Chelsea, they've actually kind of wanted to recoup some money back after spending close to nearly 600 million pounds. So our next player we're looking at. If Man City do come in for Rice, with that, we're looking at hopefully getting Calvin Phillips from with the deal. But Calvin Phillips' intention is to stay at Man City. He wants to fight for his position. You know, he's obviously won a treble. You know, literally not kicking a ball at all. So with that, he thinks he's got a chance of getting in. It remains to be seen if Pep sees him as part of the plan for the actual expansion, and obviously he wants to carry on from where he finished off last season. Another target for Arsenal is Lavia. Apparently, again, you're in advanced talks for signing this player Fabrizio Romano says Arsenal negotiations with Southampton and the players' agent seems to be going very well. But still, again, no official bid for the player at this stage. So Newcastle in talks with Inter over a £50 million Barella move. With that, we're looking at them signing the player, so hopefully that'll be done. I mean, Inter Milan, Eddie Howe is a big fan of the 26-year-old, and that he also played in the Champions League final for Inter. Maybe you never know. I mean, when the actual the offer for the international Italian player puts him in a strong position. There's also James Maddison that Newcastle are looking for in that. Hi, Mum Flossie. Hope you're doing well. Good to see you coming on the channel. Thank you. Big up Arsenal forever. Hope you're all good as well. Thanks for coming on. First time doing this, so give me a chance. Both clubs are interested in signing Maddison, but there's also talks of Spurs coming in for the player as well. So we'll see. Arsenal may go for him, but I think it's going to be a fight between Spurs and Newcastle. Oh, this is a bit going on here. So, bear with me, guys. Everything was working well this afternoon just before I started doing this, and everything started to go the other way. So apparently, if Arsenal cannot put down, I can see that Arsenal forever. Yeah, Arsenal should put. I totally agree with you. £110 million in cash for Rice, that should get it done. Like I said, West Ham, if you can't supply a player plus cash, £120 million, 110, that obviously makes it halfway. That should be a done deal for you guys. I know he obviously wants to stay in London, but what you've got to be careful about, which I discussed yesterday, was the fact that City are in the background. They're keeping an eye on this situation at the moment. So no doubt, seeing that you've had your second bid rejected puts them in the position to think, you know what, we may have a chance of getting this player. They've got a plethora of players that can offer, which Arsenal unfortunately can't. So it'd be interesting to see what we develop from that stage there. Also, City are looking to get this player Gardival. That's obviously, it seems that Walker's going to be on his way to Bayern Munich, so they're looking to strengthen on the right back situation. However, the Bundesliga side will only sell him if there's a huge fee. The shark is lurking behind Arsenal. Yeah, you're not wrong there. He's always in the background waiting to snap up something if it's not going to be taken by Mikel. But yeah, I mean, obviously the rumour is that, City are sitting behind. Big up, Jaminio. I hope you're keeping well. Good evening. It's going to be when you look at it, if Gundogan's going to go, he may even come to Arsenal. There's obviously Bernardo Silva's on his way out, so it does leave him a bit weak in the midfield, considering the team that they've got. So Rice would be a great addition for City. He'll add something, with Grealish on the left, and possibly Mahrez if he's going to stay. I mean, there's talks that he may be going to Saudi Arabia, which seems to be where most of the Chelsea players are heading at this stage. I mean, if you look at it, Neves has just signed for Al Hilal for a reported £47 million. Not bad business for them, really. I mean, a bit weird though. The kid's only 26 and he's going there too early in my respects. I mean, I thought he was going to go to you guys at Arsenal. That would have been a great addition for you. But considering Benzema's signed for El Halihad for, apparently 3-year deal, £86 million a season. Small change for most people. It'd be interesting. It would be interesting to see. Who else is going on there? So, I know, Jermaine. I know you're a great fan of Rice. I know you love this player. Yeah, the same club. Yeah, I can get it. I mean, it's going to be interesting what's going to happen to City. Will this charges come to fruition? At the moment, it's just sitting in the background. I know. Yeah, Neves. For me, funny if we was talking about that earlier on. For me, I think it's just a case of it's all about the money, isn't it, at the end of the day. But 26, I thought he'd have had, kept himself in the Premier League for a couple of more seasons before moving on. That's too early in my respects to go to a club like that, at least. Oh, so it looks like maybe Bernardo Silva could also be heading to Saudi Arabia as well. It seems that everyone wants to go to Saudi. Yeah, I liked him as well, Firmino. I mean, he is a good player. I thought he'd end up at a big club as well. So, yeah, when you look at that, I mean, yeah, Rice and Grealish at the same club. He does sign a really after Man City declared bankruptcy and they liquidate. I think they have Mama Flossie. It seems that I don't think the negotiations went well, so it looks like it could be dead in the water. But I think when you look at Daniel Levy and that, he always plays hardball. He doesn't look to pay over the odds for a player. He'll always come in cheap all the time. Yeah, he's always stingy. Yeah, you're right there, Firmino. Yeah, Levy's always stingy as always. Now it's interesting here, just reading about Leicester. They want £50 million for James Maddison. They want in excess of 50 million for the England national. Oh, so West Ham's looking to go for Harvey Barnes. I reckon the winger is worth north of £40 million. I think if you look at it from my point of view, and that sign a player, Harvey Barnes is a great addition to any team. So we'll see on that one. Well, he's got to pay for that stadium, Mama Flossie, in there. £1 billion stadium, and that it doesn't come cheap. They've got to pay for it somehow. I think if you look at it, what's it, over 20 million? 20 years to pay outright for that stadium. So yeah, no doubt if you think your club's stingy, you imagine what this are like. So yeah, it should be interesting. Oh, how about that, Firmino? I'm happy with that. It's true though, isn't it? 50 million for Maddison with his wages in the Championship. That won't end well. They'll panic sell him on deadline day for 25 to 30 million pounds. As always, when you look at it, most clubs last season waited until the last minute and missed out on quite a few good players. Question for you Arsenal people in that: would you buy Harvey Barnes over James Maddison? Which one would you have out of the two? So yeah, even though Maddison's been relegated, he's untarnished despite the relegation. Yeah, I get that. I mean, he's got a lot more experience than Barnes has. Good. Yeah, I agree on that as well. I mean, you look at him. I mean, they're just showing you old records here, but he's still got it as far as I see it. I mean, they're just showing figures here for 2018, but that's we've got to look at what he does now. So apparently, I don't know if you heard the rumor as well. Apparently, Saudi wanted to go in for Heung-min Son from Spurs, but it seems like he actually wants to kind of stay in at Spurs. And apparently, money doesn't matter to me now. It's the pride of playing football. To play in my favourite league is important. I propel well when I come back to Spurs. Well, you know, considering last season he didn't exactly rip up trees, did he? I want to play more for Tottenham in the Premier League. Well, you need to turn up first of all. I prefer Hobby Barnes to Shai Havertz. What do you think on that? I mean, Havertz still on that. I mean, again, is he really going to actually kind of bring you goals? You know, he didn't exactly do it for Chelsea. Is he going to do it for you guys? I mean, I know you've got more chance of attacking forwards, but is he going to be the person that's going to bang you in goals? Oh, go on, Jamina. They'd be interested to see what it's all about. What's your crazy theory? So this is an interesting one. So Tottenham considering going for Fulham defender Tosin Adarabioyo. He's among the centre backs as possibly plots transfers for him. Not a bad little player. You know, we know the North London rivals. Whoever, I mean, I feel sorry for this Postelugo because he's got a bit of a hard job here. When you look at how aging that team is, it's not good at all. Let's have a look what he says here. So, whether the Saudi League offers big money to the big clubs, United, Barca, Madrid, etc., and they include all the big clubs and Saudi clubs to form a Super League. Interesting. Yes, it's very true. I mean, we know that Super League at some point is going to come. There's no two ways about it. It's all about a money thing. Yeah, I'll try and override that Mama Flossie in there. I mean, like, you know, it's a bit too much in my eyes. Keep refraining from sending long messages. Well, how are we going to talk about things? Would West Ham accept a loan with Arsenal for Emma? I think if you look at it for Emil Smith-Rowe, would he stay at Arsenal? Because he's not exactly he's fallen out of favour with Arteta. It seems to be a phase at your club. You know, you think it was Emil Smith-Rowe, then it was Martinelli. But I think if you look at a loan, I don't think West Ham will go for a loan. They want cash plus a player or cash outright. So I can't see a loan being done. Maybe, you know, Emil Smith-Rowe plus cash, then they may consider it. Yeah, I'm blocking it now, cigarette. So who else are we going to look at there? So Newcastle, what do you think Newcastle's going to go for? You know, any ideas here, Mama Flossie? Madison, there's obviously talking about there. You're scouting apparently, I ain't going to say his name is a bit much. RP Leipzig's attacking midfielder Dominik Szoboszlai. Apparently you've done it twice in 2 weeks now. He's a 22-year-old Hungarian international. He's scored over Werder Bremen and Bayern Munich. So, but the contract runs out until summer 2026. So there's a bit much there. So that Barella, I think they're asking for a bit too much money here because it seems like there's a gap of £30 million in valuation. Newcastle willing to pay 50 million for the player, but Inter trying to hold out for 80 million. I think it's a bit too much. So an alternative could be AC Milan's Sandro Tonali. He's another one on Newcastle's list. You know, he's a good player. I do like him. Yeah, seen that one, Jamina. Yeah, just talked about that one. I mean, like, yeah, say the price gap. I mean, when you think about Shai Havertz and 60 million, 80 million pound for Barella, yeah, that's a bit too much. And I think if you look at it, I think Newcastle have only got a budget of around about 75 million due to the transfer window, the last couple of transfer windows. They can't spend more than that at the moment due to financial fair play. Newcastle, like Arsenal, all took no action. Yeah, but at least they kind of they bought some players. They did something with it. But yeah, I agree with what you're saying there. You know, well, like most clubs at the moment, there's not much going on, is there, really, in the market itself? Hopefully, well, the only one that's really doing something is actually Brighton. I think he's signed around about 4 players so far. De Zerbi's actually kind of looking to strengthen up, ready for European football, as well as obviously the Premier League. So yeah, no, he's done pretty well there so far. 4, so he's beating most clubs at this stage. So apparently, Arsenal did make a fresh verbal offer for Kai Havertz, according to the Daily Mail. It's reportedly worth 60 million after it was first turned down. Havertz has got 2 years left on his contract, and obviously Chelsea are looking to recoup back that money. I mean, when you look at it, 60 million is a bit much. Brighton have already signed João Pedro and James Milner. De Zerbi's team will be great next season. Totally agree, Jorginho and that. I mean, like, you know, he's a great coach. I think he surprised a lot of people last season with how they played. Yeah, they got beat at one point quite heavily in that, but they made up for that the next time when they played you guys. You know, we know the score from there. Apparently, Fulham are also interested in Man United's midfielder Fred. He's obviously probably surplus to requirement with Ten Hag. So there's only 1 year left on Fred's contract at Man U. So part of the overhaul, Fred's obviously on his way out. So it wouldn't be a bad shout. United looking at about 20 million for Fred, and it's more than Fulham are willing to pay. So it seems everyone's going on the cheap these days. You know, a bit of a weird one. Harvey Barnes could be going to Aston Villa. Understandable. It's nearer to home. You know, you ain't going to travel too far on that. I mean, obviously we're linked with him, West Ham, but I can't see us, you know, paying for the money. I mean, at the end of the day, I think like everything else, we're just waiting to see what happens with this Rice deal, basically. Now, Flossie, Brighton do good business. Yeah, they do. And Jorginho, everyone thought that Brighton would do poor after Potter left. Even there's only managed to expose Potter. I think anyone could definitely expose Potter well out of his depth last season. I don't know what he thought about when he decided to go and join Chelsea, and that surely you must have realised that your limitations at the time was Brighton. Chelsea is just a big step up. Not being funny, I suppose, if you look at it, it's like Moyes going to Man United and thinking that he could just walk in, do the business, and we know what the story was from there. We were looking at West Ham. We're interested in a youngster, Bristol City's midfielder Alex Scott. Deciding whether to formally approach the Championship club. He's a 19-year-old and he's literally got 2 years left on his contract. We're interested, so is one of the other kind of Championship teams, but it seems that we're also interested in João Palhinha. It's not encouraging though, because when you look at it, he's got a 4 year left on his contract, and he does not have a release clause. And Fulham are not encouraging offers to get rid of the player, which is understandable because he's, you know, for them he's quite pivotal in that team. So let's see what we got there. Everyone thought that Brighton would do poor after Potter left. Even De Zerbi managed to expose Potter. Yeah, sorry, we read that one. Potter's like Rodgers, Moyes, Hodgson, etc. Good for small teams, but that is limit. Yeah, totally agree. I heard that Scott fellow is decent. Yeah, he's supposed to be. Yeah, I think we've been looking at him for a while. I don't know if we actually will sign him. It'd be interesting if we do go from that point there. I mean, we're talking about the players, but look at the manager front. Apparently, Patrick Vieira's touted to become Leeds boss. Probably won't be a bad shout, but would he travel all out to, up north? Considering like he's been settled here, in London itself. And then you saw the last couple of days, I don't know, just can't, Gary O'Neill saved Bournemouth 15th, when he took over, but then they went and sacked him. I can understand it. I think when you look at it, he got them from, what was it, second from bottom, got them up to 15th position, but then I think they lost the last 4 games. So obviously Bournemouth were looking to kind of get rid of that altogether. And they already probably had this other fellow in mind straight off anyway. And then you had basically Darren Moore leaving Sheffield Wednesday, gets them promoted, and then they leave by mutual consent. So, I don't know, interesting. I don't know what's going on with that one. What's this here? So, I see that Chelsea willing to sell Cucurella for half the money they paid for him at Brighton. Be honest, Arsenal forever. Would you have him in your team? That was a weird buy. I think that was just a kind of Potter, keeping hold of him for the time being. I know they bought him before Potter turned up there, but I've never been a fan of him. I thought there's always a problem. There's always a mistake in him. I've heard, yeah. Ask forever. He's an absolutely awful player. Yeah, totally agree. Bournemouth for the last after 25 games. He did. He pulled off a great miracle. I mean, when you look at that, I thought once he got him out of that this season, they would give him more of a chance. But it seemed like, as always, management always have something up their sleeves, and it was proved right. But the fact that they turned around and said, "Yeah, we're looking at candidates, we're thinking about it," and before you know it, they literally announced it soon after they got rid of him. The allegations that a Premier League manager raped a teenage girl, so maybe that's linked to the Gary O'Neill second. Interesting. Well, if that's the case, then I'm sure it'll come out, and he'll face the consequences if it is actually him. So we'll see. Every player that joins Chelsea are all awful. Yeah. Well, apparently, I saw as well an article that Todd Boehly has turned around and said to Poch that he must play Romelu Lukaku. I don't know why he thinks that. Todd Boehly and that, he just kind of, I don't know. He gets too involved for my liking. As a manager, you want to manage your team. That's what you're there for. You're paid for that kind of job. But when you've got your chairman coming in all times and interfering, telling you what to play, who to play, what to buy, it's not a good mix. Something's got to give at some point, and it will be, no doubt, if things don't work out rightly, you'll see Poch go in no time if that's careful. Yeah, I totally agree, Jermaine. Whoever it is, I hope the right action is taken. Let's hope so. It was good to see the other day. I don't know if you saw it. That fan, the Man United fan that had the shirt 97. He's actually been banned, lifetime ban. Good. I'm glad they took action, because that, no matter what, is absolutely disgusting. We can't have things like that going on in football. I think it was all done with. We can't be dealing with people like that. How do you kind of put your head on the pillow of a night time and think to yourself, yeah, that's great, I can do that, I think it's funny. He even chuckled in court. Scum. Pure scum. Simple as that. That's my thought of that. Ask for Jamino. Must be a Declan Rice lover that keeps doing it. Yeah, we all know Jamino loves him, really. He's got a poster on the wall. I bet you he's got a poster on the wall of him. Jamino, Chelsea's best players season with Lewis Hall, 600 million spent, and your best player is a 17-year-old left back from the back arse of London. I did see an article, I think actually took a photo of it, and it's showing you the amount that Chelsea have actually paid since Todd Boehly took over. 20 signings, and he has spent £653.7 million. Absolutely crazy. Second of that is West Ham, is Manchester United with 227.4. That's 9 signings. West Ham are third with 11 signings, and we've spent 194.2 million, which is quite surprising their wallet is open. Liverpool with 6 signings of 191.5 million, and Arsenal with 8 signings and 180.5 million. So that's mad money. How are you going to recoup £653 million? Mama Flossie, that guy's a history of that type of stuff. Yeah. Yeah, it's true. Yeah, well, he's got his just desserts now, hopefully. Yeah, we can't have that going on. So who's that new player that they've just signed? Let's see now. That's forward. Where is he now? Yeah, so to add on to that £53 million, they've now just spent 52 million on Christopher Nkunku from RP Leipzig. Is on a 6-year deal, and Chelsea apparently have paid the release clause to get this player. He's got 16 goals and 6 assists in 25 league games for RP League last season. So he becomes a Chelsea player on the 1st of July. And Chelsea apparently was reported to pay above the 25 million, 60 million euros release clause, which came to effect this summer. But they've now chose that. So he says, the player himself says he's happy to be joining Chelsea, who apparently came from the Paris Saint-Germain youth system. Big effort was made to bring me to the club. I'm looking forward to meeting my new coach and teammates and show that Chelsea put supporters what I can do on the pitch. And having played in League One and the Bundesliga, I now want to play in the Premier League. And he's classed it as one of the strongest leagues in the world. I'm very excited for this challenge and would be proud to wear the Chelsea shirt. Well, he's probably going to be the only one that's going to be proud to wear that shirt. I mean, these bloody streams, put my main account in. You're joking, I hope not. I shall make sure I'll get rid of that. That's what. Maybe break your sentences up into two lines and then send it that way, Jermaine. That's probably going to be your best way around it, I'd say. Yeah. So looking at you, Arsenal people, and that, what kind of other people would you like to sign for the club? For your club in that. I mean, obviously you need strength and depth, especially now that you're in the Champions League. You need that depth because if you're not too careful on that, it's going to be a very short Champions League experience. Who else is looking to go? Yep. Yeah, probably would be best for you, I'd say, because that way then, if they're kind of restricting you, when you think about it, there's only kind of 4 lines and you're blocking your messages. Not great. So who else are you linked with? So obviously Timber, Havertz, Lavia. Okay, Mama Flossie, thanks for coming in. Been a pleasure talking with you and that, and hopefully I'll catch you another time. Don't walk too far with them dogs. Hopefully you've got good weather where you are. You need another 2 midfield at least, a centre back and a striker, maybe a backup keeper. Yeah, I think you definitely need a backup keeper in that. I mean, Ramsdale, I think for me, he was probably your most outstanding player. Certain games, I think he kept you in it. Your midfielders, obviously we know that there's this rumour that Partey could be going. Centre back, yeah, you need someone to partner up with Gabriel on that. We obviously know Holding's not the player, and definitely, where did you put Ben White? Are you going to put him out on the right? Tomiyasu for some reason has kind of dropped off the radar. So yeah, it'll be interesting. Thanks, Mama Flossie. Take care. See you soon. Appreciate that. What do we think about Xhaka, though? Is he going to actually be leaving Arsenal? It seems to be that whatever you do, this player sticks around like glue. He don't seem to, all this kind of, he's leaving now. This is his last season. He's definitely going. Because it says here as well, apparently Arteta has refused to confirm that Xhaka will leave the club this summer. It's like a bloody yo-yo for you clubs, that's for sure. Awful weather in Ireland. Was out for a walk today and got completely soaked. We had it this morning, funny enough. We had bad weather, only because it lasted for about 15, 20 minutes. And then it was hot as hell after that, just too humid. Arsenal forever. We need a right back, left back, 2 midfielders, winger, striker, and a new manager. dear me. Yeah. You got quite a. I know I've seen quite a few of the streams that said that they've got rid of the dead wood, but it seems like you're still too weak. Basically, you need to be a lot stronger. Apologies for this. What's going on here? But yeah, you need to have something a lot stronger in your team if you're going to progress well, especially how you did last season in the Premier. As we all know, nearly there, just fell over at the last hurdle. So what you mentioned there, Arsenal forever. Yes, hopefully you're going to do good. But are you going to spend the money? That's the problem. Are you going to wait to the last minute? Unfortunately for Arsenal, it seems that you always buy one of those trophy players. So obviously, if you look at it, possibly Rice is the trophy player, and then you're going to buy fringe players around that just to bolster your team up. And does that work? All that's going to do more than anything else is pee off, the Arsenal fans, and that's not right. At the end of the day, the club should realise what the fans want at the end of the day and try and build it around that. Don't need a new left back with any manager recognised. I agree on that, Jaminho, but is he going to stay? I mean, obviously, there's talks. Obviously, Newcastle could be landing his signature, but obviously, with Brendan Rodgers now going to Celtic, is he going to go back in for the player and bring him back up there? He's only got limited game time this season. Obviously, you've got Zinchenko, but out between the two, and that, from my eyes, Tierney wins it hands down all day long. There's no way it should really be Zinchenko. And that, he was great when he first came in. Yep. He had that championship medal behind him, and that helps him out. But other than that, Arsenal forever. We don't need any left back. We've only much recognised Tierney's column. Yeah, so we should do that. Whether Tierney might be staying for his own sake, he should leave. Yeah, I agree. If he's only going to get limited game time, the kid's got to play. Simple as that. He needs to play and get game time. So moving on, but it's who he's going to go to, Newcastle or Celtic. Celtic, you might as well say he's probably guaranteed to get cup medal, win the league. Newcastle, just play, finish up higher in the table. Tierney's the better defender, but Zinchenko is a better player. Yeah, he's a better defender. Zinchenko, and that, at least you can push him up out on the wing. He gives you that option at least. But yeah, I still like Tierney myself. It's just a fact, obviously, he's had those injuries, hasn't he? I think that's hampered his kind of time with you, which is a bit of a shame, really. So what else we got for 11? Yeah. So according to the Telegraph, Arsenal are willing to cash in on Thomas Partey as part of the overhaul for the midfielder. Xhaka apparently is ready to go to Bayer Leverkusen, but he's still there. So who knows? Who knows what's going to go on there? I mean, for me, Partey offers you something. He's got a little bit of strength in there. He offers something a bit better than what Odegaard does. Odegaard is more of attacking, and obviously Partey gives you more of a kind of defensive strength. I can understand why you want to go for Rice. If you do get rid of Partey, then Rice will be the better alternative. He obviously puts himself. I think he puts himself out more than what Partey does. I may be wrong. Sorry to you Arsenal fans. You may say different to what I am, but obviously I know my player. The worst part, obviously, was Moise Caicedo. That should have been a nailed-on one. So, Jaminho, we are back to square one if we get rid of Partey. But are you, though? I mean, like I said, if you get Rice, I know you don't like the player, but he does offer you that little bit of strength and maybe possibly that stability. But I understand what you're saying about Partey. Like I said, he does give you something. He does offer there. We've got here Richard Garlic, Chad, and Eddie need to go. Yeah. Well, we've got the same situation at West Ham, Arsenal forever. We got the Rob, I've got his surname now, the guy from Man City. that's supposed to be in their kind of director of football. He didn't exactly kind of do much. You know, brought a couple of players in. But other than that, we've now got Mark Noble in, but I think he's still too inexperienced. So basically, West Ham have gone for this new German coach. Let me just see what the fella's name is. His name eludes me again. So we've gone for... Who is he now? So Mark Noble. We've gone for the other guy now. Tim Steadtine. So he is the new guy that we've gone for. He departed his role at Bayer Leverkusen, and we're looking to improve on the recruitment team. So he seems to be the ideal candidate. Apparently he's made a positive impression with David Moyes. So hopefully from that, we can see a bit more better business going on. I think it's not going to affect Mark Noble. They just want him to get more experience under his belt while he's learning the role, basically. Still don't think Rice is on the level of Partey. Yeah, I know why. I know your views on it. Keeps in it left back, moves Zinchenko into midfield. Good shout. It's probably going to be the best thing for you. You need that attack. But then in this case, what do you do with Martinelli? Where does he go? Where do you push the player? Where does he move on from there? Are you going to put him up top? The one thing you are lacking, you can't just rely on Jesus to kind of get you all the goals. We know obviously he's liable to get an injury. You know, he does do that. So yeah, you need something a bit more than just kind of Jesus for your goals. Arsenal forever. Now that Partey's leaving, it makes more sense now to sign Caicedo, but we won't work. Yeah. Yeah, it's a shame really, because I think, well, the problem is, I think for you guys, is the budget, isn't it? I think, was it Kroenke's give you something like 230 million, or around that kind of figure. And if you think about it, if you sign Rice and Caicedo, and I think was it 75, I think they wanted for Caicedo, who'd you buy from that? Does that mean then if you bought those two players and it worked, are you then buying fringe players? Are you buying loan to buy players? It's a very kind of fragile market, isn't it? What do you do? It's a balance. Do we go for 5 or 6 players, or do we buy 2 good players and then build around with some other smaller, lesser known players to get the club moving forward? I don't think it works for Arsenal, because you need that experience, especially when you're going in the Champions League. When you think that for the period of time you've had out of the Champions League, you must want to do well, and you must want to progress. So you need to kind of get those better players to help you move through. Otherwise, as I said earlier, you're only going to have a couple of rounds in the Champions League, and then where do you stand? You're out if you're not careful. So yeah, it's interesting so far. I mean, there's not much business been going on when you think about it, really. It's, I say, apart from Brighton really buying, no one else is really kind of. You're not hearing much from Man United. You're not much hearing from Liverpool. I think they've only kind of gone for one player, Liverpool, so far. They've got rid of players more than anything else. Apparently, Liverpool also going for Lavia as well. So if you're not careful, you're going to lose out on that player. So the interesting one for Liverpool, I mean, I saw that the other day. Apparently, Gakpo fancies himself up top. It's he's not a bad player. I think he's still got to learn. Because when you look at it, there's certain games, maybe he's learning off of Salah, because obviously that bloke doesn't like passing to anyone. He wants to go for a goal for himself. So yeah, really, he should have kind of laid the ball across on certain games where they could have actually won games. Arsenal forever. The Kroenke's budget stinks. Giving us 200 million, you would think they are worth £5 billion. This is the thing, Arsenal forever. I think it was discussed on a channel a couple of days back. you consider how much money Stan Kroenke's made from his American teams that he owns, and yet for football here in the UK, he gives you a miserly figure. It's less than half than what he gives to these American teams. So that tells you something straight away. That's not good at all. So you can understand why you're looking to to get rid of him. You want to get a new owner in. So you look at Liverpool, they've got rid of James Milner, Roberto Firmino's going, Naby Keita's gone, and even Oxlade-Chamberlain. So what does that leave for actual Liverpool? When you think they didn't exactly have a great season, they struggled at certain points. So yeah, who do they buy? I mean, it's quite interesting that they've kept the faith with Jurgen Klopp, considering what's gone on there. I mean, looking at the only player I'd say about Liverpool who was that they've bought is this Alexis McAllister. Did you feel like it could have been a player for you? He's not a bad player. I liked him. I mean, when you look at it, they've paid an initial fee of £35 million for the player, which seems to be a bargain in this kind of day and age. But they reckon the fee could rise up to £55 million. It's part of the rebuild for Liverpool. Will they overtake other clubs? It all depends on what they buy. So we've got it here now. So Arsenal forever, yeah, that's there. And exactly, he cares more about the Rams, etc., not Arsenal. Yeah, that's not great. I mean, why buy the club if you're not going to invest in it? Surely you must want to do that straight away. Actually, that's the key thing. And understand the fan base. They're the ones that pay the money for your club to go and watch your team. Surely you want to put money in to reinvest so you get the support, more players, more teams, more fans. Stan Kroenke even said he didn't buy into Arsenal to win trophies. What? That's mad. So why was it just to kind of like it's a toy? He's using Arsenal as a toy. What he can do, just kind of I buy certain players just to see it get by. No, that's not good at all. Not good at all in that. I mean, it's funny if you look at us, West Ham, when you look at Gold, Sullivan and Brady, it was all GSB out. And then when Moyes and the team were doing well, everyone went silent. And then last season, weren't so good. Okay, we won a cup at the end, so that's kind of sorted things out. But going by Arsenal Forever's comment there, cool. As a fan, you must be spitting feathers because that just kind of tells you the ambition that man's got for your club. So it doesn't look good in that respects. Interesting. What else have we got? No, don't look at that. Don't worry about that. Sorry about this, guys. Just a quick look, see if there's any other thing I can add on to this. Other than that, Arsenal, Vieira. No, not much coming in at the moment. It's very quiet at the moment. Like I said, there's all rumours. Nothing's really set in stone. Which is a bit of a shame. You'd expect a bit more there. I mean, obviously, what was good to see was your young lad Saka getting the hat-trick last night. Some great goals as well. I think it needed it. I mean, when you look at that for Saka, for me, he's been overplayed. What we've got to be careful, I think, is to must kind of manage the player better than what Arteta's does. Because, when you look at it, a couple of years' time and that, he's going to be nothing. He's going to be burnt out, no good at all. So Arsenal forever. Our ambition died when we knocked down Highbury. I feel your pain there. We have exactly the same when obviously we left Upton Park. We was promised exactly the same kind of thing. We're going to move to a new stadium, going to get big players. We're going to compete with the top 6. We'll be there. And then the first season we was there, we basically spent over £100 million and nothing. Poor buys, and when you look at it, no one liked the stadium. There was fights going on in the stadium. So yeah, Arsenal forever. I feel your pain. I know exactly what you mean by that. Highbury was your fortress. The Emirates, yeah, it's still last season. I think obviously attracted the fan base back. You actually was a bit more of a voice there compared to before. But yeah, I mean, it's all about money these days, isn't it? Simple as it's about money. Can we get the commercial in? When you look at your prices for your seats, that's just mad, absolutely mad. Arsenal forever. Arteta needs to know and understand how to utilise players for their strengths and how to switch up the style of play. Also, learning more about game management. 100%. How many times have you seen him in a game where it's going the opposite way and he's got no plan B? He's got no plan C, and he's definitely got no plan Z. He's got to learn from that, because yeah, that's not good at all. So Marcus Rashford is close to signing a new contract with Man United. That's good. You can stay there. Players too predictable in my eyes. Yeah, he did well. He got himself back on the score sheet last year. But yeah, he's for me, it's just too much of a predictable player. Oh yeah, I can see that thing you was talking about. Premier League club executive has been questioned. So it's actually a Premier League club executive that's been questioned under a caution over a historical allegation of rape. So it's not actually a manager by the sounds of it. It's a club executive. So yeah. Wow. That Marcus Rashford deal apparently is a new contract extension worth nearly £100 million. Is he worth that much? I don't think so. Really don't know. That's bad. And this shows, when you look at, we're saying about chairmans with managers and players, etc. Just reading here, Gary O'Neill apparently learned he was being sacked as Bournemouth head coach with a phone call on Monday at 6 o'clock in the morning. How's that? Morning, Gary. Do you have a good sleep? Yeah, by the way, you're sacked. Goodbye. Put the phone down. Mad. This one makes you laugh. So looking at this, just before we're going to sign off, it says here, former Arsenal goalkeeper Jens Lehmann has been charged with property damage after allegedly taking a chainsaw to a neighbour's property, according to reports in Germany. Not surprised by that. Look at how he played for you guys and that. Yeah, he was a little bit, a different breed. Loved him because I like that style in a player. It's something different, that's for sure. But yeah, chainsaw. Interesting. That's quite a question as well again to you Arsenal people. And that, what do you think about Florian Balogun? What's happening with there? It seems that he's asked I can say his name again, Arteta, to play him or sell him. What would you rather do? Keep him or would you sell him on? He's obviously he's either surplus to requirements or he's going to be or he's going to play him this year, especially our kind of way Arteta works with these youngsters. Absolutely, Arsenal forever. I don't know what's going on with that one. I mean, you get promoted with them. When you look at the game against Peterborough, to come back in that game and then to win it in extra time, and to get into the back into the top flight, and then they part by mutual consent. What's that about? I just don't get that. They're saying there's something a bit more weird there than we've been told. No doubt we'll find out. It'll come out in the wash, as they say. Yeah. Balogun, for me, I think he offers more than what Nketiah does. I mean, for God's sakes, I hope that we don't go through him. Apparently, Moyes does like Nketiah. I mean, he can get goals, but he's not a 90-minute player, that's for sure. So, yeah. But who would buy Nketiah? Where would he go? That's the truth. Where would he go at that point? Excuse me. Okay. I read this as well. I don't know if you saw that. It's about Thibaut Courtois. Apparently, he's not travelled with Belgium for the Euro 24 qualifier in Estonia. Apparently, he's claiming that he doesn't feel respected within the team. So he's dug his heels in and said, get someone else to do it. I'm not going to go there if no one likes me. I did hear as well, I think there was a Premier League team that was looking to go for him. I don't know. We'll see. Nice one, Arsenal forever. Yeah, we'll give you 90 million plus Nketiah for Declan Rice. Job done. Yeah. Who's being shortchanged there? You or me? I think someone is. We'll see. We'll see. That's an interesting one. Right, guys. Well, nearly an hour. Thank you very much for your time and that. I will wrap it up at this point. It's been an interesting one. Thanks for your comments as well, guys. I appreciate you coming in. Really do like that. Thanks very much. Appreciate that. Enjoy the rest of your evening as well. Thanks for coming in. Don't forget to subscribe, share and like. And obviously, for people like Arsenal Forever, Jaminio, make sure you do subscribe to their channels as well. Great guys. I've talked to them many times in other streams. I always got on well with them and that, even though we are rivals. They're great guys. So look at, please make sure you give them a shout as well. What I'll say is thanks very much for yourself. I appreciate it coming on. Hold on, there's another comment coming in with. Oh, Arsenal Forever. Come on, look, I've just bigged you up here and now you give me Rob Holding as well. Wow. No. Who else can you throw in for that? Who's the other one you can throw in as well? Oh, yeah, you can throw in Cedric as well. Then we might be a deal. We'll see. We'll see on that one. Thanks very much. Appreciate that. Thank you. Have a good evening, guys, and I'll catch you next time. Take care for now. Look after yourself. Bye-bye.